Very excited now. What you looking at?
Worthless hobby! The future!
You got what we can hear.
It must be erased.
Hello, welcome to another Warframe video. This video is about Gara, how to use Gara and such. Here I'm doing steel pot survival around 1 hour-ish. As you can see, one-shotting enemies with Gara with a scatter glass. I will show my build later on. This is just a demo on how she works. She's melting steel pot enemies like it's nothing while surviving with her stacks as long as you have them. Now if you're curious how she works, I'll cover that later on. Now let's see how she works in arbitration defense. Here I'm in wave 70. I will show you the complete defense so that I'm not skipping anything and you'll understand how she works. The whole idea is about building your stacks. As you can see, I have some here around 8 million. If you lose them, you will like get one shot by enemies at this level, so you have to maintain that stack. And if you keep maintaining that, there's nothing that can kill you as long as you don't screw up. So yeah, I'm using my fort to kill those low level type enemies. Only this ancient and whatnot requires you to just kill them by going closer to them. And here I completed my 70 waves, all the rewards and stuff, and I decided to extract because you do 70 waves around 1 hour time. So that's what I was aiming for, so I left. Now let's see how she works. Before doing that, let me just give you one more tip. During infestation, you have to be aware of this enemy toxication, because no matter what your stacks are, it has that one OP level attack which will like kill you instantly. Doesn't matter if you have 8 million, 12 million, whatever, it will do that toxic attack and you will die. So just have to be aware of that. It is not that common attack, but I died in my 60 level wave. I mean 60 wave in defense, so that's why I'm giving you an awareness. Now rest, Corpus is another shitty faction to go against with Gara because of the nullified bubbles. Now let's check the build and everything, how she works. Now I'm gonna show you build and later on tell you how she works if you're interested in knowing that. If you're just for the build, I'm gonna say it here. A build is steel charge, and as you can see, I'm not using too much strength because she doesn't need it. What she needs is duration and melee mods, to be honest, because her whole attack range depends upon melee mods. So I'm using here duration and some range to cover more area to affect more enemies, and that's how you don't have to go too closer to them in some situation like the toxic ancient and whatnot. So that's how you build it. Constitution is actually pretty required because it will help you if you get knocked down. That's the reason I'm using constitution more. Alright, so this is how when you use it. The desired companion should be your sentinel so that you can cast your second on it itself. Like here I casted it upon my sentinel. I will cast it upon myself. When you cast it yourself, you can see the UI of your stacks. That's how we'll know you have casted it on yourself. Now this will also give damage reduction to your sentinels, so it will survive with you as long as you can. There is a very high chance it will actually die. Like I mean, sorry, has very less chance it will actually die depending upon your stacks. So that's why instead of some pets, sentinel is more useful. So that's the first I wanted to give. Now how to build stacks. Stacks are built by your fourth skill, then going outside and holding your first skill. You have to hold it. Holding it will give the slash damage, and if you just tap it, it will give puncture. Like this is what happens when you tap, and this is what happens when you hold it. So doing so, sorry, it went too far. Doing so will increase your stacks, which depends upon your melee mods and Warframe strength. But you don't need Warframe strength too much, as I said, just enough to get 90% duration damage reduction. Let's see in enemies how it performs. Let's start with some really basic ones. Butcher. I'm using already let's remove that. I'm using 175 enemy levels. So just show you like even with such low stacks it can kill these enemies just walking around. That's it, they're dead. Of course the higher armor based enemies won't die so easily. Let's check added seeker simulate, and here I lost my stacks. Let's build it again. Give you a sentinel, give yourself, build it. See, they won't die easily because my stacks is low, but by the time you reach 175 level you will have enough stacks anyway to one shot them. So this is just an example how most Gara gameplay goes. You rely on her shattered glass to do the damage, and to maintain your duration stacks you have to use your fort so that the duration doesn't run out, and thus you build your stacks as longer as you can, as long as you don't fuck up and lose it. So I don't prefer corpus units because there are a lot of bubbles and all that shit. Lose yourself, and if you fall from a pitch or something, cliff something, you will lose your abilities and thus losing your stacks. So keep that in mind. The only thing you have to remember in playing Gara is to remind yourself of the duration and the stacks. If you lose it in a high level, you just have to extract. There's no other option because to rebuild again, it will take a lot of time, and you probably will die a lot, die along. So let's build some more. Let's give you an example of how I play in Steel Essence. I mean in Steel Path, because those enemies already start with high rank, high armor, and everything. Let me build something until 200 to give you an idea. Just bear with me. I'm just trying to build. Now remember to shatter the glass from outside, because if you do it from inside, you get nothing. You won't get these stacks, which I was doing when I first learned about Gara, and I was wondering why I not getting my stacks. So let's remove them. Let's get some corrupt gunner. Now this they will not die so quickly as you think because they have high armor. Of course the steel path ones have more higher than them. See, you're not getting one shot or whatever. Now how do I kill these enemies in steel path? I use my new core to put status on them. Once they have status, they easily die like this. That's how I was killing them so easily when in steel path. Put some status on them like this. When the duration is low, you have to refill the duration, and that's it. This is how the Gara works. Hope you understand. Now, how to mod your melee for your satin glass, because the melee mods affected. You can use any melee you want. It doesn't affect the stats. Don't affect the skills. Only the mods do. Riven also helps. So if you're using a very high disposition melee, you can use its Riven to gain more damage here. And we are using slash, elemental, and pure damage because that's all it matters. Slash because we rely on the slash. As I said, you have to hold your first to do slash damage. So that's why we're getting more slash. And for Nukor, I'm using corrosive heat radiation is built in with the core. You can also use viral if you want, depending upon what faction you're against. I just go with corrosive because it removes the armor and I do enough slash damage to just kill the enemies in one shot anyway in the high level, depending upon what stacks you are. I believe that's it. That's a short info on Gara and how to play her. Example, now let me give you a tip on how to use Gara in defense based or any type of mission where you need to use your fort to kill them. This is a good mission. Now, as you can see, when I create a wall, it's on the ground level, it's only covering the ground section. And when you attack yourself with the wall to kill the enemy, it will only kill the enemies on the ground level section or the section that's parallel to them. It will not kill if they're on the upper level or something like that. For that, you have to build the wall higher enough to cover both areas, full ground and the upper level. That will give you that will also attack the upper level and both the below levels. You don't have to build them this higher or this long, but you get the idea what I'm trying to say, right? Now this can be used on any tile set that has a lot of levels, like the new corpus ship is similar to Hydron. I don't like that tile set because it's very annoying. I just skip that whenever it appears on arbitration, even though it is good way to earn arbitration reward. It's just the tile set is just shitty. I don't like to use it. So this is a quick tip I wanted to give because I learned it very later on and I was just missing enemies and I didn't know how. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. Hope this helps. See you in next one. If you got any doubts on Gara, comment below. I'll try my best to answer it because I'm still a rookie in Gara, but I know how she works. It's a best friend. The only places you cannot use her is like Elite and Sanctuary Onslaught because in every stage your abilities refresh, so you will lose your stacks and everything like that. That's it. A user in arbitration, long survival, defense, all that neat stuff.